my
This experience of doing this is not about the clothes for me and has never really been about the clothes. It's about loving something and to feel loved and to feel seen. And, you know, I'm not someone who really starts with the design. I start with a whole wall of colors and textures and fabrics and really trying to build a story. And this one, of all the shows, I didn't have some big theme in mind. I kept thinking about the journey. The thing I know now that I didn't know years ago is that those moments that you don't control that happen in the last couple of hours are sometimes the things that are the most beautiful and the things that really do define you. I think every big moment for me or best-selling item has been something that I haven't tightly controlled. And so I try to let myself do that through this process. And there's kind of no better team to do it with than the team that I have. The show this year was at the American Museum of Natural History, which was actually my dream to do it there from day one, and I was able to this year, thankfully. As I start the collection, I start with music and I know what the song's gonna be, and that song eventually 6 months later is on the runway. I did not do that this time because I work with Sebastian Perrin, who for such a long time.
Let's get physical.
Not too much, not too much.
Sebastian's very good at being able to encapsulate in 11 and a half minutes like exactly how I was feeling during the entire process. So I know that now and I let him do what he's great at. I work with Carlene Surf, who is one of the most legendary stylists in the world and a real lover of women.
Yeah. It's chic.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
I think that that's her greatest gift is understanding how women want to feel. You know, I'm not a woman, so I think having that point of view is so helpful for me. And it's such a joyous process working with her. Carlene has worked with everyone, has done every cover, has done every big fashion moment that you can think of, the ones that you Google that you love for years. It's usually Carlene that's done it. She has such a deep sense of knowledge and she has such a aura of confidence around her that it's very comforting for me because I know that she has done everything and there's nothing she hasn't been through and there's nothing that she can't handle. And so I really enjoy, as we get into the week, like handing off everything we've made. It's like always like a relay race. Like I've run as far as I can and now it's my turn to hand off the baton to her. She comes in, she always makes new things that she thinks that we should have. She is very good at being able to bring something that at one point is very dormant to fully to life. Like she says a lot in the process, like it needs to be real, it needs to feel real, it all has to feel real. What Carlene is very good at is taking the clothes that I make, which, you know, are not groundbreaking in any sort of way. I'm really trying to make clothes that I think that you can buy and wear a lot of times and that are not jumping out at you. And she's able to take those slightly pedestrian elements and put them all together with the jewelry and the bags and the shoes and make it feel like something desirable. And I think that that is her real gift. What nobody really talks about is like if models don't show up for the show, you don't have a show. Your team has worked for so long, our jobs rely on them showing up and bringing the clothes to life. And so Angus's job is very, very important. So I probably am the most emotional with Angus. Like he sees every emotion that I'm going through. He absorbs that and then he tries to make sense of that. And it was interesting when we finished the board this season, I could look and see that he was able to see exactly what it is that I wanted without me knowing how to verbalize that. And that's a great relationship to have. Marla is one of the most beautiful, tasteful, soft-spoken, intelligent people I know. And she's also a very, very, very dear friend who has been with me through everything. She was one of the very first people to support me. She showed up for me when she did not have to. She continuously shows up for me when she does not have to. at this show, I told her I wanted to do the show in the basement with all the dioramas, and I wanted lamps everywhere and curtains. I want it to feel like a living room. You know, she can always take my crazy ideas and really refine them and make them very clean and very polished. This season, she was very dead set on having a big green curtain frame the room, which I was kind of neither here nor there about. Not because I didn't care, but because I know enough to trust that whatever she's going to do is going to be the right thing. And let me tell you, as soon as I walked in the room, it was absolutely the right thing. She did a gorgeous painted backdrop for all of the photos, which again, as I'm thinking about it, when I saw it, I was like, I don't really know about that. And every photo I'm so deeply in love with now. And I think that for any young person or a person who's getting into this industry, this part of it is so important that you have to trust your collaborators. You have to trust the people who know better than you. You have to trust the people who are good at what they do, and you have to let them do their job. I think people think you just show up and do a show. It's a very layered process, and it's all run by production. So there is one point person who does everything. That's Daizan.
I have some calculations too.
I call Daizan, I tell them what I'm thinking, they extract what they think they need to take away from that, and then they'll show me 30 locations, and we'll go around for days and see every building, every venue, everything. They hire the teams, put the production on, they send out the call times, they make sure all the models show up, the hair and makeup shows up, that the pictures get done, that the show is done, that everything is wrapped up. They have a very hard job. And I could go on and on about that forever, but what I will say is that I'm very, very grateful and super thankful to them for always supporting my ideas, doing it with a smile, and making it really, really fun. And let us not forget about John Torres. Okay, so John Torres is the lighting director of the show, and I've never had a conversation really about lighting with John ever. Like, I tell him one or two random words, and then I come in and I really swear that it's perfect. Like, he knows how to light the clothes. Oh, it's okay, it's good. Speaking of the lighting for this, like, it was the right time for the lighting to happen because we're talking about John's lighting. See, it's a mood. See how the mood changes? And you have to be a lighting genius to know that. And then the last is, and definitely not the least important, is KCD. And I went in for a meeting many years after I had launched, or a couple years after I had launched, and they took me on as a client, and my life changed. And they have been with me every single day. They're like family.
How do you feel?
And they see me through the good and the bad. This season in particular, they were late getting out into the room to the show because I locked myself in my dressing room and had a full crying meltdown and had to almost breathe into a bag. And they all got up on their chairs and started beating their chairs and saying that everything's gonna be great and this is gonna be awesome and everything's amazing. And everybody started like giving me a full-blown cheer mat talk. And you know, it's like, that's the key takeaway from the show for me, is that this experience of doing this is not about the clothes for me and has never really been about the clothes. I love making clothes, it's what I like to do, but it's about community. It's about loving something and the thing that you love, being able to bring people together. All of the teams that I work with come together to like really pull out the best in each other. And my team does it for me, I try to do it for them, and that is what is like very fashionable and great.